Hey guys, how's it going? This is the Bald Metal Nerd coming at you with another video about a compact component mini system. This time I'm going to be covering the Jvc Mx Gb6. Quite a mouthful. Now this thing, the way they marketed it and stuff, it's really bass emphasized kind of a stereo. Right now what you see on the screen is just the demo it does when the power is off. Since it is such a bass heavy driven machine, I figured I would test out 9 Inch Nails' Pretty Hate Machine on it since, obviously it's a fairly bass heavy album. So, I guess the first question on your mind is, how does it sound? Well, it sounds pretty good, with the EQ adjusted right and all that, and the bass level set just right, not too boomy. It sounds pretty good, but of course it does not really compete with my main system. And that's not surprising, considering, the cost differential, the size differential, the speakers, all that. But anyway, it's still pretty good for what it is. So I will go ahead and start off by covering. I'm going to zoom in on one of the speakers here, just for fun. As you can see, it's got fairly large woofer on it. It actually has metal grills. Kind of neat, I think. Moving on up here, you got some more stuff. And at the top you have what they call a bass tube. So they really emphasize the bass on this. Plus the way the speakers wire up is kind of funny, and I will be getting to that, of course, later on. This thing is loaded down, of course, with features as you would expect, just like most of these devices are. We got dual cassette decks, push open type, just like on my other mini system, but both of these actually work. Yeah, and it's opening and closing. You might be hearing yourself, how did you get this mini system? You're probably not asking yourself that, but I'll tell you anyway. I actually got this thing when my parents got divorced. Neither one of them took this thing, so I was like, if they don't want this thing, I'll take this thing. So there you go. That's how I got it. Anyway, let's go ahead and power this beast on. One thing I really like is the fact that it beeps and stuff, because if you ever watch any movies where they do anything with electronics at all, they always beep and boop, which is incredibly generally unrealistic, because most things don't make noises every time you hit a flippin' button. But on this one it does, which is honestly an amusing touch in my opinion. So I'm going to go ahead and hit play on the CD here, and I'm sorry there's not going to be any sound due to copyright issues. And if I was actually getting volume out of this thing, you would be getting a spectrograph, the sound would be bouncing up and down just like you would expect. And it has a number of different features. This, of course, is a bass boost right here. That's the bass turned all the way up. And of course, you can turn the bass down. It also has what they call Rhythm AX or Rhythm Max. It's kind of just an EQ thing. You can turn it on or off. It generally sounds better with it turned on. And of course, you have one. You can go through different sound modes, which is, of course, another equalizer, dance club, hall, stadium, rock, pop, etc. You get the idea. Pretty standard stuff for a system like this. And the 3 CD changer is a carousel. And just like every other carousel here, I'll lift up so you can see it. Pretty large, as you can see. It has a play and exchange system, so there you go. Pretty standard stuff on this thing. It's, like I said, it's a nice system. I think it cost about $300 or $400 when it was new. Right now you get it on the secondary market. I looked on eBay for between $250 and $300. I would not pay that much for this thing. It isn't, in my opinion, you can spend your money better and get better quality sound than this. But, again, for what it is, I think the sound is pretty good. Considering I didn't actually pay for it, hey, I'm happy with it. Now I, of course, instead of just listening through the speakers, I also listened to the headphone output and compared it to my Audio Engine D1, and of course I listened on the Audio Technica AT-HM50Xs. The Audio Engine D1 was just playing a lot better than the headphone output on this. I'm sorry, the Audio Engine D1 blew this one away. Sorry. The headphone output on it it's there, but it's nothing to write home about. The only other downside to this system, in my opinion, is there's not tons of inputs and outputs on it. The only input on it is a single, excuse me, 3.5, I'm sorry, 1/8 inch, 3.5, I don't know what I'm saying, guys. 1/8 inch auxiliary input, and of course you got your 1/8 inch headphone output. And that's it. There's no other inputs or outputs on it, unfortunately. So that's pretty much going to wrap this thing up as a system. I'm going to go ahead, pause here, unplug everything, and I will show off the individual components and talk about those. Be right back, guys. Okay, guys, here we are looking at the back of the unit. Sorry for the lack of tripod on this, but I figured it'd be a lot easier to show off the features and stuff if I went off tripod for this part of the video. As you can see, it's got a large fan, which is good because the unit does get fairly warm. Here is the included FM antenna. I don't have the AM loop antenna, so sorry I can't show that off. And here is the way the speakers hook into the system. And as you can see, it is a little bit different from what you might be used to. It looks like, you got basically looks like you could input 4 speakers. I'm sorry, yeah, 4 inputs for speakers, right? But here's the thing. Each set of speakers actually takes, I'm going to go ahead and unhook one, maybe. It's hard to do this one-handed. There we go. It's possible. Just got to be careful. There it is. Basically, each speaker takes 2 sets of speaker wire because they have it wired up to, they label this main speakers and this subwoofer, even though they're the same speaker, and left and right, obviously. And that's just the way they do it. It's a little bit funny, but hey, I guess that's how they design the system. As you can see on the back, there are no inputs and outputs. Just that large fan, and that's pretty much it. Now, I'll go ahead and give you guys a real close-up of the speakers. And as you can see, they are pretty neat looking. Let me go ahead and show you the bass tube there on the side. It's labeled Gigatube. So this is pretty much going to reach the end here of this review. If you can find this thing real cheap on the secondary market, get it. But for the prices I saw it on eBay, it's definitely not worth eBay prices. I would spend, I don't know, maybe $100 on it used. That would be my upper limit. You can definitely, for the money that it's going for on the secondary market, you can get, I would just buy a modern system like this, because Sony still makes them, and a few other brands still make them. Just get one of those if you're going to spend that much. Anyway, that's going to wrap this up. I hope you guys enjoyed watching. If you did like what you see, please thumbs up, share, subscribe, all that fun stuff. Thanks for watching. I will catch you guys next time.